Stunning new developments in the race for Attorney General.
Violent text messages from Jay Jones.
Messages talked about shooting the Speaker of the State House.
Saying he would put 2 bullets in Gilbert's head.
3 people, 2 bullets, and wishing violence upon his children.
He wished Gilbert's wife could watch her own child die in her arms.
It's not just shocking, it's sick. Jay Jones, dressed up in a suit when he should be in a straitjacket.
Club for Growth Action paid for and is responsible for the content of this ad.
Y'all, this man is literally running for the Attorney General of Virginia, the chief legal officer position in Virginia. Yet he's texting people that they should be unalived with guns. The party that is all for gun safety and gun control is texting somebody about people being eliminated from this earth with guns and fantasizing about their children dying in their mother's arms. And you would think at this point, the Democrat politicians have to come out and condemn this. They have to admit that there is a problem on their side. They have to. But no, they're not. They're not making any public statements against this man. In fact, they're vouching for his personality and how good of a person he is. Let's hear from Tim Kaine and what he had to say.
Senator, do you still support Jay Jones? You do. What do you think he should drop out of this race after those comments? I just answered your question. You have concerns about what you saw?
The comments are completely indefensible. I've known Jay Jones for 25 years, and those comments are very much out of character for him. So if I put the comments, which are clearly beyond the pale, against knowing this guy for 25 years, I'm still a supporter of Jay Jones. What do you think about
Senator, do you still support Jay Jones?
So even the reporter seemed like when he was walking away that he did not get the answer that he was hoping for. And he seems, by the look on his face, to understand how bad this looks. That someone running for an attorney general of state could literally text someone wishing death on political opponents, politicians that they don't agree with. This person that he's talking about isn't running against him for attorney general, but he used to be the Speaker of the House in Virginia. So even the reporters seem to get the feeling that these Democrats need to start condemning this political violence rhetoric on the left. And that wasn't the only question that Tim Kaine was asked about this. He's been asked about it repeatedly.
Do you think Jay Jones should drop out of the race in Virginia?
Jay has apologized. The statements that he made were indefensible.
Great.
But I've known Jay Jones for 25 years. I think those statements were not in character, and he has apologized. I wish other people in public life would sincerely apologize for stuff. So no, I still am a supporter.
Do you think Jay Jones should drop?
So if you wish death upon your political opponents, people that you don't agree with, as long as you apologize, it's fine. Y'all, if this was a Republican, they would be arrested and put in jail, and it would be front page news on all mainstream media. Everyone would be talking about it. All of them. But as long as you're a Democrat, you can say whatever you want, and the Democrats will back you up because he's known you for 25 years, and this just doesn't seem like it's in character. He texted this person multiple times about things like this. Multiple times. So here are the text messages that he sent. I think this first part right here is he meant to actually send these to someone else. And then he goes on to say, talking about Joe Johnson, a Democrat, but basically a Republican, leaked everything to your caucus. It's why Gilbert gave him such a glowing tribute. So his messages about Gilbert are, I believe Gilbert's first name is Todd, are due to him saying good things about this Democrat who died. Because that's definitely a reason why you should wish death on people and their children. Leaked everything to your caucus. It's why Gilbert gave him such a glowing tribute. And then the other person says, I knew what you were talking about. Served with my dad. This is Jay again. Served with my dad who had nice words with a little choice sprinkled in. The other person says, I didn't look at that. I just saw a guy died and assumed you'd have words. And then Jay replies he was a Democrat. And then the other person says they say nice things about everyone, LOL. And then Jay responds, if those guys die before me, I will go to their funerals to piss on their graves, send them out a wash and something. And then the other person says, Jay Jones. And then Jay says 3 people, 2 bullets, Gilbert, Hitler, and Pol Pot. Gilbert gets 2 bullets to the head. Spoiler, put Gilbert in the crew with the 2 worst people you know, and he receives both bullets every time. Basically saying that he's worse than Hitler and Pol Pot. The person says, please, Jay, stop. Jay says, LOL, okay, okay. And then they say, it really bothers me when you talk about hurting people or wishing death on them. That insinuates that he does this all the time, y'all. Running for Attorney General. Attorney General. And he says this kind of thing all the time. And he jokes around with his staffers like this. Okay? You weren't simply asking questions and you know it. Jay said, I genuinely was. I wasn't attacking you. I was trying to understand your logic. The other person says, you weren't trying to understand. You were talking about hoping Jennifer Gilbert's children would die. And then he says, yes, I've told you this before. Only when people feel pain personally do they move on policy. So again, he's been talking like this for quite some time. The other person says there isn't. I point blank asked you more than 3 times and you dug in that you meant it. I honestly am questioning a lot today. And then Jay says, I mean, I do. I think Todd and Jennifer are evil and that they're breeding little fascists. Yes. How many times do we have to point out that when you call people fascists and Hitler and Nazis and all these things, you're dehumanizing them to make other people think that they're worthy of killing? This is the mindset of Jay Jones running for Attorney General of Virginia. Let's see what Nancy Pelosi has to say. Do we think she's going to condemn these texts? No, not really.
There is a Democrat running for Attorney General who's embroiled in a scandal over text messages in which he, the Democrat, said that the GOP Speaker of the House of Delegates should get 2 bullets to the head for how he paid tribute to a former moderate Democratic lawmaker who died. He has apologized. Should he get out of the race?
Well, that's up to the people, the leaders in Virginia. They have said he has apologized. What I understand is they say that on balance, he's the better person to be Attorney General. But that's up to them. But I wish there would be enough fuss of all the times that people have said they were going to put a bullet in my head right in public. In the public
I think
domain.
It's because of that. That's one of the reasons I wanted to ask you that. You are somebody who knows all too well in a horrific way.
We have to get rid of that kind of language. I mean, it's just not appropriate.
If you were Abigail Spanberger, who's the Democrat running for governor, would you call on him to step aside?
But she has to do what she has to do. She's going to be governor. She's running very well. Everybody's very proud of her candidacy. And her race is her race, and her state is her state, and it's up to her. I really don't get involved in other people's races, that the mayor of New York, that this, of that. It's up to the people in that state, and I respect their judgment and wish them well. And she and Mikey Sherrill will both be new women governors, and I'm very excited about that.
So as long as he apologizes, it's fine, right, Nancy? It's fine. Everything's fine. Nothing to see here. And he's, from what she hears, he's the better candidate for Attorney General of Virginia. The better candidate that, in her mind, is actually texting people on a regular basis about murdering his political opponents, people that he doesn't like, and their children dying in their mother's arms. Yeah, that's definitely the better candidate for the Attorney General of Virginia, or any state, or this entire country for that matter. This person is literally going to be in charge of the legal proceedings of the entire state, and he is wishing death on people. He's literally inciting violence and inciting breaking the law, but he's going to be potentially in charge of the law for the entire state, and he's the better candidate. That's the logic of these Democrats. These people are satanic. While there have been some news outlets that have been reporting on this, here's a little bit of information about some news outlets that aren't really reporting on it and some that aren't reporting on it at all.
Substantial race in an off-year election, 63 seconds coverage on NBC, nothing on the other two big networks, nothing on PBS. It's like this never happened.
Well, that is not surprising in any way because most of the corporate media view their job as existing to help out the Democrat Party with their campaigns. And so it happens on literally every issue, whether it's an actual race and a candidate that they're trying to help out. We know that if this were a Republican candidate, it would be leading every single news show. And every Republican official in America would be forced to ask about it. We now have a situation in the Democrat Party where there's open support for left-wing violence and nobody's really getting asked hard questions.
Substantial race in an
But every time that one of their people commits violence or does something like this, they excuse it and they say, well, the right really needs to calm down the rhetoric. Y'all are literally texting people to incite violence against your political opponents. You have people out here actually committing the violence that you're inciting on camera every single day. AOC, Jasmine Crockett, Hakeem Jeffries, Schumer, Pelosi, all of you are doing this, and we need to calm down the rhetoric. And then you have your mainstream media not even reporting on it because they are literally covering for Democrat violence. Luckily, there are some people with a little bit of sense because that's actually showing in the polls. So in a previous poll done in September, Jones was actually up. He was at 46.4%, and Jason Mayares, who is the Republican candidate, was at 42.5%. Now a new poll is showing that Mayares is up 6% and Jones is down by 16.5%. I do believe that this has to do with these text messages coming out. So thankfully there are citizens that are actually looking at this and making a sound decision, and you know, they probably don't want someone that is cheering on the death of people, the murdering of people, the breaking of laws to be their attorney general. You know, maybe there are some Democrats with some common sense. Maybe there are. We'll see in the election. So also, the Fraternal Order of Police of Virginia have sent a letter to Jones telling him that they want him to drop out, obviously, because he would be overseeing the operations of law enforcement. Like, this is serious. This is not a joke. You cannot be, and even the unprofessional nature of his text messages, even if you took out the rest, he's very unprofessional. I don't know if this is how attorney generals generally act, but I don't like it. I don't like it at all. You are top law enforcement in your state. You should be professional, and you should be admiring the law and adhering to it, not advocating the breaking of it. This is sick, y'all. So I'm really glad that the Fraternal Order of Police sent this letter to him. They said, the Virginia Fraternal Order of Police is aware of the recent text message scandal involving you, the Democrat candidate for Attorney General. While this incident may have occurred in 2022, this conduct has no place in our society or democracy, especially from an elected official who is running to be the top prosecutor in Virginia. The men and women of the Virginia Fraternal Order unequivocally condemn these violent text messages sent to you by about a political opponent and his family. We support everyone's right to respectful and peaceful discussions with a political figure, which this was not. However, the calling for any type of violence is unacceptable. We have seen what this type of rhetoric has caused in other parts of the country. The men and women of law enforcement work tirelessly to combat the violence you wished on a fellow Virginian and his family. Therefore, the members of the Virginia Fraternal Order of Police believe that you, Jay Jones, are unfit for the office of Attorney General of Virginia. I agree. It is time you hold yourself accountable for these actions and withdraw from the Attorney General race immediately. Immediately. So I did a little search because at the time that I saw this story, nobody had seemingly removed their endorsement for Jay Jones. And he was backed by a bunch of gun safety and gun control groups, surprisingly enough. The Democrats say that they're all about gun control and let's reduce gun crime. But here they are like shooting people with guns and advocating for shooting people with guns. And not in self-defense. Murder. Well, while they haven't made any public statements, Brady Pack, Everytown for Gun Safety, and Giffords have scrubbed their websites of endorsement for J. Jones. I don't know if that means that they're removing their endorsements, and they're just not being public about it, or if they're not removing their endorsements and they're not being public about it. I don't know, because they haven't made any statements. Nobody on the left has made any public statements about wanting him to remove himself from this race. Not the gun control groups, not the Democrat politicians, nobody, except for people on the right. So who is it that really condemns gun violence? Is it the left? Because it sure does sound a lot more like we on the right are condemning gun violence in actuality, genuinely. They just do it because it gets people riled up. That's all. They take advantage of every single school shooting. They take advantage of every church shooting. And then ironically, they take advantage of every shooting that the leftists do, other than those. And they push gun control every single time. And then we find out they're secretly texting to get people shot. A lot of you probably already know what the responsibilities of an attorney general is, but I just wanted to point it out because this is not playtime. This is not a joke. This is extremely serious that we are, well, not we, but they are voting people into office that are like this. This is not the only person who has secret text messages about killing Republicans. Do not even get it twisted. There's so many that we don't even know about. Congress should actually subpoena. It's probably not even legal. You have to have cause, obviously. I don't know if what's happening right now is cause. I think someone would have to be personally implicated in something in order to do this. But you know what? The Democrats were just found guilty of subpoenaing call records and tapping the phones of Republican sitting Congress people. So, I don't know. Maybe we should play it dirty too. Maybe we should just play it dirty too and subpoena the call records of Ilhan Omar, AOC, Jasmine Crockett, Cory Booker, Hakeem Jeffries, Schumer, Pelosi. Let's see what they're texting people. I think we probably wouldn't be surprised, but their constituents might be a little bit surprised. So the Attorney General serves as the Commonwealth's chief legal officer, responsible for legal counsel, litigation, public advocacy, law enforcement support, works with local and state law enforcement to address emerging public safety threats. Well, it sure does look like we have some of the signs of a potential public safety threat in J. Jones, who's running for this particular office. Is that not a conflict of interest? Financial matters, child support enforcement, and public policy. Imagine that. Do y'all think that this man should be forced to step down? He should not be allowed to run for attorney general. He is advocating for breaking the law while running for the position where he is to uphold the law. This should be no questions asked, in my opinion. We need laws and procedures on the books that if this type of thing happens, you're out. You're done in government. You're finished. Your time is over. You've already broken the Constitution. You've already advocated for breaking the law. Why should you be allowed to even run? It shouldn't even be the people's choice at this point. It's in the best interest of American citizens to not have people like this in office at all, in any capacity whatsoever. These people should not be even in the building, period. And they should be on a watch list. J. Jones should be on a watch list. So tell me, y'all, what do y'all think about all this crazy stuff? Leave a comment below. Make sure to hit the like button, subscribe if you're not already. Hit the bell icon for getting notified when I upload a new video, because YouTube doesn't always send out impressions to everyone when I upload a new video. So you'll be sitting there and not knowing that I actually uploaded one. And I'll see you on the next one.